Right, we're about 2 minutes away. So getting ready for Flow Friday, episode Thursday. Episode 30. We'll be with you in just a sec. You're just getting started. Welcome, everybody, as you start to join in for today. As you join, please pop in the chat where in the world you're coming from today. We'd love to see that. We've got lots of our team, GoTeam members in Cebu in the Philippines. So drop that in the chat so we can see where you're from. And thanks, Nice, for running our session today. Great to have you here as our live stream production manager who keeps it all running and happening. Thank you so much. It started in just under 1 minute. We'll be getting started today. All right. Countdown is on. Wow, it has been a huge week in AI, that's for sure. So many changes coming. I think we're going to see that every week. So welcome everybody to Flow Friday, episode Thursday. Episode Thursday, I said it again. I'm thinking about our US friends that it's Thursday, but we are on Friday and it is episode 30. Let me share my screen and we'll jump into today's session. You know, every week there's going to be huge updates in AI, that is for sure. And this week is no exception. I'll just check that you can see my screen. It says Flow Friday there, episode 30. Yep, cool, fantastic. Hey, today we're coming live from Bali, Indonesia, which is my home location. And if you don't know where that is, or if you're unfamiliar, here's where we sit on the map. And we see all of our friends and team members at GoTeam in the Philippines. And so for those in the US and those in Australia, no doubt very familiar with Bali, as it's like a bit of a second home for many people. We're thinking about putting on a live event later this year in Bali. So keep posted for that. And if you're interested, please do let me know if a live event in Bali is something I'd love to attend. Today, we're going to cover a fair bit, top news in the world of AI. It's actually going to have some impact. I'll be sharing with you some of the thinking ahead of some considerations, because as the live news comes out, it's then predicting what's coming next and how you're really skating towards where the puck will be. I'll be sharing with you a feature update, freebies, how we're going to start sharing those, AI and automation examples for today, so you get you really inspired for what your journey looks like and for 2025. And with that, today, we're going to spend some time on the fundamentals, because it's can often be overwhelming. Like, where do I start? Am I here and there? And before you know it, you're jumping around. And on Flow Fridays, we often show you how to build side by side with me and what you can do. But really, that's just building your skill set. The next step is getting your plan right for 2025. I'm going to show you how to think differently on your planning with AI and automation so that you can actually set yourself up for real success. Also, academy.multiplai.tech, its launch date announcement. We thought we were going to get it there last week, but there's a fair bit of content going in and set up. So I'll let you know about that. And then beta release of the automations. We'll be taking this with an application process. And those, when you fill out the application process, we're going to give you the 60 days for free. I know there's some others we've had other conversations with around that. We want to open this up to more people, and I'll talk about what you'll get and the support in that period as well. So let's jump into today's session. So top news in the world of AI. If you may or may not have heard, Donald Trump has now made it into power in the USA. At the start of the week was his first day. And I got to say, with some of the things that have happened this week, I'm asking myself the question, did China just declare war, not with missiles or anything like that, on the USA, but more from an economic standpoint? You see, Trump's first day in office, he broadcasted live with Larry Ellison from Oracle, Sam Altman from OpenAI, Yoshi-san from SoftBank. and declared the new Project Stargate, which is around building these massive AI data centers, and with a pledge of $500 billion in the development of these. Now, this is telling us that, we already knew it in this group, that AI is here and it's here to stay. And that right now, this has become a critical national driver for the US, and we'll see it for all governments around the world as well. And the initial $100 billion is being committed. The next $400 billion, I think they've got to figure out how to get that. That's what Elon Musk tweeted on X, that they don't have the money yet, but really they'll just print the money if they need it and impact inflation. He also shared that he'll be making emergency declarations around building power plants to then support these massive data centers. And so this is where, right now, USA is seen as the home of AI, right? That's where the big companies like OpenAI and Anthropic are. What China did, though, this week was like the competitive strategic move against this by releasing DeepSeek, which is their model, which is comparative to OpenAI, or their models, because there's multiple of them. They released DeepSeek and R1, which is the competitor to O1, plus other models as open source. So the ability to actually host those independently, because some are concerned about, like, DeepSeek's amazing, and we're on target to release DeepSeek as an option next week within Raya, and that some will be concerned around, will China train on the data that you've got and that you're using as you using DeepSeek. And so what China's done is made it open source, right? So you can actually have your own models hosted separately, have all your data stored, no concerns around data privacy or risk or leakage. So it's a huge move for the open source community as well. Also, their 1B model, so 1 billion parameter model, is actually able to be run on today's modern machines. We started experimenting with deploying language models back, must be 18 months ago now. I think it was definitely 12 months ago. And one of the hurdles that we sort of hit was that our machines are not powerful enough for most people to get that running. Now, Llama is now in the smaller models, but what DeepSeek's got is quite outstanding. So there's no doubt that running these models on local machines will also be part of the future. I'll talk about that more. So I'm saying here, could it be that China is releasing these competitive open source models to destabilize the US commercial beachhead that they've actually got for AI inference? Could be. Watch this space with what happens next. Other top news is that this morning, Australian, Indonesian, Bali time, or probably today for those in the US, OpenAI released Operator, which is the computer control version of OpenAI and of their models. Now, some things to note about this is, first of all, it's only in research release, so it's limited release. It's just for the US at the moment before it rolls out to other areas of the world, and that it will be expensive to run because computer control requires the multimodal capability where it's actually taking images of what's on the screen to understand what's on the screen and then take the actions. Now, this is very different from robotic process automation, where you need to train the computer to do a range of steps, and it needs to be, in most RPA applications, you need to select exactly where the computer is going to click. Now, the difference with what Operator does is that it essentially lives inside ChatGPT or within a window. And at the moment, its focus is just on SaaS products, so just on online. It won't actually work on your computer applications on your desktop, from what I've seen so far, and that will change rapidly as well. What we're also can expect from Operator is that it'll have some limitations initially. They've openly said, look, it's going to make mistakes. But hey, we as humans make mistakes as well. And I think, though, sometimes there's less tolerance for the AI. You want it to be perfect each time. But this is a nascent technology. It's at the very much the cutting edge. The API for it has not been released. But when the API is released, then we'll be bringing that to Raya as well. And one of the reasons we'll bring that to Raya is that, in most of our cases in business, a lot of the work we do comes down to how clear we are with our processes, our systems in business. And there'll be stages where you'll want the AI to go off and do some activities that are not specifically, either APIs are not available for the agents to act on, or there's just a bit more thinking process as well, or things will change. But the main one really is that if there's no API available, then you would want something like computer control at this point. And that will sort of bridge the gap on some of those systems. We'll probably see it initially as more like a interesting activity to do. Wouldn't even get to enterprise in reality, not before the end of this year, maybe not even until next year, until it's really bedded down. It'll just be our real innovators and early adopters, so the people on this call that will want to play around with it. And as that comes through, we'll give more education on how the computer control will benefit in business and where are the safe points to use it and where are the at-risk points as well. You certainly wouldn't want it to be running off doing banking for you and transferring funds, as an example. So thinking ahead, this year, I believe that we'll be seeing more of a move to local models on our machines to bring the cost of inference down as these models get better. So as the year progresses, we'll look at how we can give that access to local models on your machines, and that the overall, this will be the year of AI automation and integration. You're going to hear a lot of people talking about this is the year of the AI agents. And that was also said in 24. We're definitely going to see it in 25. The key to the agents, though, is that we need to give them actual full agency, right? So they need arms and legs to go and take actions on our behalf. And the key there is that it's going to really require the APIs to make that work. Now, no doubt we are right at the tip of the spear with what's happening here. And for everyone's benefit, not just our full team that are working on this, we also have some, in our team, some team members from Canada who are the MIT super nerds that also help us out with the latest edge cases of what to apply. And they work with governments and institutions right around the world. So we've got some of the best minds on this with Raya, and our innovation investment just continues at a rapid pace. So we're super excited to know that, well, we'd like you to be excited to know that we are in your corner, continuing to take you into advanced areas as all these changes occur. Now, with this, I love the Wayne Gretzky statement here, which is when asked, why is he so great at what he does? And he's in the Hall of Fame in ice hockey. And he says, I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. And that's the game for all of us when we're looking at the speed of change with AI and automation and agents, is to be thinking ahead a few steps. We're going to do the work today to benefit the business, but keep the education going so you can be thinking about where to next. And as you push the edges of this, you'll want more and more and more from your agents and automation on what they'll deliver. And the key is to be sharing that along the way. And so our new community that we launch will make that even easier to share your ideas. Although in Raya, we've got the ideas request area as well that you can jump to anytime. But it'd be great to see all of our thinking coming together. So thinking ahead, computer control will be expensive to begin with, but naturally costs will come down, just like we've seen with all of the models, right? All the models have really reduced. And as that cost comes down, you'll actually find new use cases for AI, new and better use cases for AI. Certainly, open source models will be hot on the heels of all the closed source models like OpenAI. And as mentioned earlier, all of our machines will get more powerful, and you'll see crazy outcomes. We've seen the video releasing the smaller machines. They've got at CES, they released a new $3,000 machine that will come out about March, that essentially businesses could really put in as like an AI server in their businesses to run these models and then distribute that throughout the network, or you could even sort of wire that up to be a cloud-based to reduce that cost of inference. One thing I will say, though, away from the technology, is that critical thinking, the ability to ask questions, and learning the fundamentals of language in particular are going to become more important, because it's the quality of the questions that we ask that will drive the quality of the prompting. And in that prompting piece, it's not just the prompts that we're writing for our agents to use, but what you'll see come in Raya around your automations and then workflows is the ability to simply talk to the AI, and it will build these things for you. And that's coming. That's actually on our roadmap. So excited to be sharing that when it gets into early release as well. The other one is your domain knowledge, or your niche, or your niche. That's going to become paramount. The deeper that you understand your particular domain, will become more fundamental, more valuable as well. Because as the big players focus on building out these models and the power, they can't get down or really deep into all these different areas. So the area where you stand out, and this is where you can move away from any concern of fear and move straight into love and curiosity and action, is that you pick your zone and you play in that, and you get really good and you upskill your knowledge on it, because it'll be that knowledge that directs what your AI is going to do for you within your businesses. The next thing I want to share with you is feature updates. So for Raya, if you don't know what Raya stands for, it's actually a Results Enablement Agents. That's what the REA is. We've got improvement on the AI agents profile text generation. Also, from a new feature perspective, that you'll really sort of stand out see is the workflow instructions now have AI generation in them. I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a sec. Also, the ability to paste images from the clipboard into the chat, where previously you needed to upload the file. Now you can just do a screenshot, copy and paste it into the chat, which will make it even easier to use. The other thing that I didn't put on there, but you're going to see, the web scraping is remarkable with what's under the hood now. And we've also fixed some output on some of the formatting. So some of your workflows content, where it's got multiple digits and so forth, that's up to 2 digits. And there's lots of under the hood improvements as well. I'm going to share my screen now, and we'll go and have a bit of a look at, in particular, the workflow instructions that now have the AI generation. So I'm just going to switch screens as we do that one. And this is super fun, actually, because I would like everyone to put their scientists' hats on for this one and start playing around with this new prompting section and how the AI will do that for us. So let's pick a workflow as an example, and pull one of these up. So with the workflow, so for example, if I pick the hero's journey that we've done before, and what I'll also, I'm just going to copy that one. What's changed now? So previously, the prompts that we had in here were quite small. And what you can do, I might pick the next one, golden circle. In this particular workflow, what we did was we're creating the content for doing the carousel type cards in LinkedIn, or could be use it in Facebook as well. The content there, and using the hero's journey to write it about your particular product. This one, from the web scraping perspective, I'm going to show you what some output looks like. It is really thorough now. You'll also notice that there's an icon to show the prompt template that it's being used on this particular block. And when we look at the instructions area, so we've also changed some labels. So we're now just saying title and then instructions. Your instructions are the prompt for that particular step in or node or block in the workflow itself. Now, previously we'd need to type that in, and I would, in a Flow Friday session, you would copy and paste as you follow along behind me. Now, what's also possible is to simply click on generate, and based on the title and the previous agent step as well, it's in its consideration, and the actual title of the overall workflow, the essentially agent behind this is going to now go and write out more detailed instructions. And it's amazing compared to, I previously had like a few lines in there, and with the why, how, what instruction around the golden circle. And now it gives this detailed outcome. Now, whenever you do this, please read it, okay? It is not intended to be the final output. Just like we use AI for building our agents, we then read what's in there and make adjustments. Now, you know me, in most cases, I don't even change any of what the agent's goal statement, backstory, or description is. Rather, I use by default what's there. Now, that being said, when you get down to one of these blocks, it's like the procedure that that agent is going to execute on. And so it's worthy of making sure it's got everything in there that you want. What we also know about prompting at any point in time to get the maximum results, it's a large prompt that makes the quality of the output, not a small prompt. So this is now going to speed up your process for prompting by essentially remove any writer's block, get the data in there, and then make the adjustments afterwards as well. So let's have a look at some of these items. I ran one before. The first, in this particular workflow, where it pulls together a web researcher, Simon Sinek to do a couple of steps, and then the hero's journey writer to do a couple more. The first step is where the scraping occurs. And now we see, and I've used our interviewroom.ai AI interview platform, and it pulls through the content really accurately from that particular page. And with that is a better setup for the next stages. Now, in this particular idea, we're picking a product or service, and from a web page and how the information that's written, it's going to bring that over to create its baseline. Then it goes on to the next steps, and it's doing a really good job of getting this content out there. The other thing that you can do too is actually, you know what, that one wasn't so great because there was OpenAI is a little bit overheated today with volume since the announcement of the computer control with Operator. I ran it again, and it did such an excellent job of the output. Now, also your models that you choose are really important also. So I've, by default, I've put into that workflow to use GPT-4o, but in some cases, you know, like with writing, you may like to choose Anthropic, and how you do that is on your large language model selection. So if I unpublish this for a moment, what we can do is change that model to, so long as you've connected it over in your settings area, you've got all the Claude models also available as well. I'll put that back to publish. Okay. Let's continue on, and in feature, we'll go back to feature updates now. And I'll share with you, for many that are aware of our upcoming release of Inbox, which is the live chat and AI chat solution from Raya. That one is still in alpha at the moment. We've still got some ways that we want to make sure that it's a super red hot, solid production. And we're testing it out internally across our 1,100 team members to make sure we can get it fully battle tested. Kieran's saying, is there a way to access the previous agent and workflow? Yeah, I'm going to give you something really special today about how that's accessible, Kieran. All the previous work from all the Flow Friday sessions, we will be releasing into the new community, academy.multiplai.tech, and we'll be doing it just like via the shared links so that you can just absorb all of that into your accounts. That's like phase one. Phase two of it, where a little bit later, hopefully in Q1, we'll release a marketplace so that you can easily search, and as we build items, you'll be able to access them through the marketplace. But where you'll get them first is in inside of the community. For Raya Inbox, we've been looking at some things like quick filters and tagging and better ability to search by things like the name of the reporter, enhanced search request outcomes, and the ability for the human support to work on formatting the messages that come through. But let's talk about freebies, because that connects to Kieran's question, and it was almost like we'd seeded that, Kieran. Thank you. I'm going to drop in the chat that example of the LinkedIn flow, the Hero's Journey card writer. So this is how we'll be sharing them, and we'll have all of those over in the Academy as well. So if you ever felt like you felt a little left behind in your early stages of learning these, we'll have the videos of those sessions in the Academy. We'll also have the links so you can just absorb it straight into your account so you can fast track. Or if you're joining us and it's like your first episode, then you're going to get the last, all the episodes with access to it as well. Can we save the shared flow into our account? Yes, you can. Testing, I think there was an issue from last week, but last night testing was done on it, and the team have said it's working now. So we'll probably further answer that in the chat as well. Okay, AI and automation examples. Well, I'm going to go back to sharing the other screen, and this is giving you a little bit more of getting your creative juices flowing with what's possible. Over in the automation section, which I'll make that announcement for applying to access the beta towards the end of the session. Over in the automations area, there's just so much amazing things that we can do. It might be things like scraping leads from Google, or all the way through to some really big ones like building out LinkedIn authority flows or automations to get that content for LinkedIn happening, or basically any process that you have in your business, you'll be able to build out these automation workflows. So AI agents and then the automations. And the key thing about the automation is the integration into your other SaaS products. And just like a user would act on a SaaS product, the AI needs to act on the SaaS product. And so it will need authentication for that user. For me, one of the big breakthroughs is that as all of the ideas, the strategic ideas come up, and you think about, oh, we really want to do this activity in the business. And then when you move from the strategy over to operational execution, the next thing that happens is we realize that we're going to need a team member to go and execute that strategy consistently. Now, that's often what holds us back in business from scaling up, because we've then got to drive more revenue before we can afford to put more team members on to do the work. Now, in this new world, the strategy will come up. We'll then think about how can we build an AI automation integration, build it, and then set it in place to do that work. Now, as these increase, what will happen next is that you'll then have team members that are running all of these automations, because there'll be times when an AI automation will break, as in it will stop because of dependencies on the API for those particular SaaS products. So it might be like, this morning OpenAI was running a bit slow, so it might need a review. And that's where we move to this world of we really are running the robots. We're going to, as team members, for majority, for all of history, we've been learning about leading team members. So you might be a technician and then you go up into a leadership role, and now you need to learn about leading people. Well, all of our, call it, technicians on the front line are going to learn to lead the robots and find that they'll scale out the volume and quality of work that they can do, and therefore have a higher value exchange. Now, what will happen next, as we saw last week from the World Economic Forum's report on the state of the jobs market, is that 70% of businesses are expecting or anticipating, planning, that they will be hiring skilled team members to help them deliver in the radical change that will happen by 2030. The reality is that most of these skilled workers don't exist in this zone yet, because everyone needs to learn the new skills. So that's a big driver for us to ensure that the upskilling is possible, and why we're releasing the new academy, so that everyone can have the confidence to be able to learn these skills, do the value exchange, and in reality, see great salary increases for people because of the big benefits they're going to see in the businesses. All right. Today I said fundamentals. I'll check my time. The risk is, with all these AI agents and automation, we run off and start doing little sporadic projects, but we don't bring it into the real fundamentals of business. That's the risk that happens. We get excited, and it's as conversations I've been having with people this week are things like, oh, there's so many tools, there's so many new things. How do I possibly keep up with it? It feels really overwhelming. And when you get to that point, it's actually time to take a step back, take a deep breath, go back to first principles, and look at what is it that we're really trying to achieve in business. And so what I'll share with you in the fundamentals are these four things: mindset, skill set, tool set, and then where to start. Because that's usually the big question, right? Where should I start with all this AI and automation? Well, the key here is actually preparing your business for AI and automation integration. We're going to see us coining AI plus AI, okay? What that means is artificial intelligence plus automation integration, because that's what we need to know to make these agents really work in 2025. And start thinking of your organizations as being AI first. And the game is actually to break through the paradigm of our old ways of thinking and start asking constantly, how can we apply AI and automation to solve this puzzle? Now, we say puzzles, right, instead of problems, as puzzles are what we want to solve. And many people don't like the idea of problems. Problem sounds really negative, but puzzles are fun. And we want to keep our heads in that open, creative space. So think about any problem that you hit, change your language to puzzle, and then have fun about how you're going to actually solve those puzzles. And for that is, I think, fundamentally, it's so basic in language, but it will make a really big difference to how people approach the problem solving and building the critical thinking they need. Now, thinking differently about agents, prompt templates, workflows, automation integrations, and your overall organizational structure is going to become fundamental. And so think of AI agents as teammates. That's the first place to start. So that way we can think about how can we delegate work to our teammates, and that the AI agents will be working alongside of all of us. Prompt templates, think of those, the prompts that we have in Raya, think of those as like work instructions. It's where you need to get some core information in order for a procedure or a process to actually work. Also, the workflows within Raya are like your processes. In fact, they're agentic workflows because they've got agents acting on each of the steps. And then those automations and the integrations, that's where you have your advanced processes connected to SaaS products. And in the future, desktop applications as well. Now, the next one is that, I think it's natural that most of us want some auto magical type of result, right? Where the AI is just going to think and do everything for us. Now, there was recently came out was the view that perhaps we've reached AGI with what can be done on deep thinking around like scientific problems. But the type of AGI that most of us are looking for is where you can just talk to the AI and it's going to run off and do all tasks for us and we can sit back and watch the work happen. Now, that automagical piece is like when, if you own or run a business or you're leading a team and you want a team member to come into your team that already knows what to do and they can automatically know all the business processes and deliver them consistently and improve on them. But if an employee cannot read the documentation on a process or procedure, there's no guarantee of consistency. And this is often where we have some scale challenges because we often, I don't know if you've ever been there before, your leader asks you to do something and they don't give a lot of information and they're kind of expecting you to be a mind reader. Or if you're the leader and you're delegating a task and you don't give enough clarity on the detail, what we're really doing is expecting our team member to be a mind reader, right? So put your hand up if you've ever done that before or been in that situation, let me know. Or 2 hands up because I know I'm guilty of it. Right, this happens. Thanks, Charity. You got a bit of a laugh there because, or Grace, I think it was. You see that it happens all the time, right? Now, and what we do need is a guarantee of consistency in business. And the thing is that this concept also goes for AI. So in business, if the processes and procedures are not documented, then you don't have a process or procedure. What you have is lumpy consistency or maybe chaos at the further end of the spectrum. There's no doubt that you may be able to deliver results and grow, but you'll grow with pain and you won't scale. So we've got to get clear on the documentation first. And as Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind. And whether that's in personal or professional life, we really need a clear plan before we execute. And Covey also shares with us to put first things first. And that's only possible if you've got a clear plan, you know what to focus on. And plans become more impactful when you've got a goal associated to the plan that is measurable so that you can see the impact of that particular plan or process playing out. And as John Dewar, who wrote the book Measure What Matters, says, execution is everything. And that's three little words, very powerful. We could add on to it, though, execution aligned to the goals is everything. Because there's no point running off executing in different directions if it's not aligned to what your actual business outcomes need to be. Because all that ends up being is wasted time, energy, and effort and busyness versus delivering against the result. When we have our mindset really clear around the goal, and then we can have the process, procedures, systems in place that achieve that goal, now we're in the zone where we want to narrow the AI's focus onto working on those systems. Otherwise, we run the risk of doing all these different activities and little mini projects and proof of concepts and getting distracted by the latest tool and changes and spinning our wheels and kind of thinking, why are we not getting value? And as McKinsey says, McKinsey are the largest digital transformation organization in the world, but you need about $1 million to start to engage with McKinsey. And they say that 50% of digital transformations fail. And a good portion of it happens because people are not clear on the goals and the outcomes that they want to achieve. Now, if there's no plan and no measurable goal, the chance of success and winning is flawed. You're really unlikely for that to occur. So obtaining urgency behind a plan comes to life when we have clear and measurable goals. And as James Clear in Atomic Habits shares, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. I'm going to say that again because this is probably one of the most powerful lines. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And when we don't reach our goals, well, as my mentor says to me, literally, hey, dum-dum, this guy, Dan Martell, you should definitely follow this guy. He's amazing. Hey, dum-dum, that is the universe showing up to let you know where you have a deficiency, right? So if you don't reach your goal, it's the universe showing up to say, you've got a deficiency somewhere, go iterate, go make the change. What is your system that needs to evolve in order to reach the goal? You see, it's the systems that are more important than the goal. And we use the term also X factors around this, right? Our behaviors that done with the right quantity, quality, and consistency are the best bet to achieving the goal. And for those that know about X factors, the evolution of these is to connect AI agents with automation, right? To actually drive those forward. And that's coming soon in our OKRX app. Now, in the old world, we would document our systems and we would hand them to a team member and say, go, and expect consistency. Or maybe if we're a little more advanced, we would train our team members on those systems, good idea, and do like what McDonald's does, right? You do the training around the systems in order to get consistency of outcome. But in reality, in most businesses, this is not what happens, right? None of these actually occur. And in the new world that we are looking at, is to say, here's the game. Document the system, create the AI agent, prompts, templates, workflows, and automations with integrations into our SaaS products. Test the AI automation integration, or test that out, right? And then train the team on running them. So delegate to the team members to run them. So either the team members have got the skill to build them, or in reality, you're going to end up building experts in your organizations with these advanced skills to build these and then deploy them to the team members, train them on how to use them, what to look for if a particular automation fails along the way, and rerun them when that occurs. And what this does is as you just deploy them, it sets you up for this 10x results. And, there's a world coming where we'll all have, 50, 100 workflows that we might be, automations that we're in charge of. And we'll probably have this on our phones, watching the results come through. And if there's an issue, up pops an alert and we can go and take care of it. It's going to definitely bring a whole new world of freedom in many roles, and roles will change significantly. Now, this is all, this now is, forgive me, we move into, this is the skill set, actually understanding this type of approach. And with the skill set is also to be thinking about the business in terms of departments to actually get you to where you need to start. Some of you have seen me share this type of concept in our digital transformation sessions. But there's something new in here. From a department perspective, or pillars, if you like, all businesses have marketing, sales, customer service, operations, IT, human resources, and finance. But there's a new department of AI and automation integration that all businesses are going to need to have. Now, depending on the size of your organization, you might have a person in each of these roles. In smaller organizations, one person is wearing many hats, doing many things. And so it becomes even more important in the smaller organization to get clear on the goals on each of these pillars, and then what you need to do to achieve the goals. And that's you understanding your systems, right? So your processes, your procedures, what SaaS products you're using, what AI automation integrations you're going to have, and then, fundamentally ensuring that we're upskilling around these consistently, as so much changes so quickly. And so here are some of the questions to ask around the goals to get started. First one is, what are the goals? KPIs or OKRXs or whatever methodology, SMART goals you use, any of those are fine. What are the goals for each of these departments? Because if you don't have that clarity, all you'll end up is with busyness versus actually having massive impact. What are they now? Like, what is the measurement now? And what would you like them to be by when? This is saying from X to Y by when. What is the measurement now? What would you like it to be in the future, and by when? Now, that's a really important question to nail down, because as you start to make the decisions on where the AI agents will be built, where the automations and all those integrations are going to occur, you need to look for the items that are going to get the big impact in your business. Not just doing something because you can, but doing something because it will make a difference. If you don't have the goal, a lot of time can be, and energy and effort can be spent on something that isn't going to give you the really big impact. After that, the question is, are these documented? And if they're not, there's an action step. It's time to get them documented. Now, from a definition perspective, we often talk about things like processes and procedures and tasks. But what does that, or a step, but what does that actually look like? And so I should put step there. When we're documenting systems, the process is like the workflow that you see. So as you do out a flow chart, as you're documenting the process, and each of those nodes in a process is actually a procedure. That's what you want there, is the procedure. And within that procedure, you break it down into steps. Then where you get the scale in business is to move the documented system over into how it can be delivered in action consistently. And this is where you start to bring in the concept of workflows and automated workflows into play, so that you're not reliant on people remembering how to do each of the procedures in that process and then the steps in there. Rather, you automate that with both human in the loop and AI to be able to have these workflows with automations that have the work instructions inside. Either, and you use your prompt templates to create those, or the prompts in the agentic workflows, or in a workflow management tool where you put those instructions in. This is how you start to get to the consistency and speed of delivery and reduce the rework and mistakes that occur. And then, a step is really a task that an individual's doing or an agent's doing along the way. So I've already alluded to it, but the advanced version of this is where you've got the workflows happening with AI and automation. We're already doing that, but this is the fundamentals, first principles thinking around it. And then for each step in a procedure, you want to understand what SaaS tool, and eventually desktop software, but you want to put that in anyway, is being used. And most importantly, if that SaaS tool has an API, because it's the APIs that are required for the agents to connect to actually take the actions. And as you start to do an audit over your business, this is your action step, okay, is to have a look at what are all the SaaS products that are being used in each position, and then check to see if it's got an API. Now, why you want to do that is because we're releasing hundreds of nodes, or essentially tools inside of Raya that your AI agents will connect to. But there'll be cases where the software developers have released APIs, but these nodes are not released, or software developers haven't released the APIs and you want them. And we are in a very strong position to go to those companies and get access to the APIs. And I know this to be true because we do it over in our payments automation company. We've got exclusive access and commercial agreements to SaaS tools that no one else has got access to. And so because of that, the size of our payments company, we're able to get into the offices of the CEOs, the CTOs, and have these conversations. And this will be your differentiator with the Raya platform and automations, in that, like, if you're considering doing any form of consulting work around AI, that that our team is going to get access to products that you just wouldn't normally get access to. Also, our engineers will be rapidly working on building out more nodes to be able to make your AI agents perform even better. The other thing to look at here, and you'll see in the table, is what role is responsible for this particular process and procedure, task, step, to get clear on that so you know how to deploy the effective agent, or who will be the human in the loop to handle it. The other one is to say goal impact, how much impact it's going to have, to help you make a decision on where to start. Now, as you're doing your planning, some of the tools that you're in toolset, planning and action, I should say, toolset wise, you might like to do some planning in tools like Figma or Lucidchart or a mind map type software. And then you'll need to store that information somewhere for access. We use the source wiki. You might use OneBrain or Notion or Google Docs or Microsoft, wherever it is. It's starting to store that with some structure so you can find all of those processes and procedures in the format that a human can read it as a starting point. So you can do quality assurance and check it. Then you've got your master plan to move over into Raya and using Multiply AI agents to be able to now build these out. Getting the plan clear first is going to allow you to act with speed, and also to start thinking about having an AI engineer, an AI automation implementation engineer in your business. And depending on the size, it might be one, but it could be many very soon. And that's a specialist role that we're releasing from GoTeam. That role will be officially launching in March as we release our advanced programs around that role, as well as some others, so that the individuals can be upskilled to be able to access it. How are we going for time? Wow, we're almost there. Where to start? Well, if you want to know where to start, where I believe the most impactful area to start is around marketing and sales. Why? Because when you increase the revenue, you can then invest in your team members' salaries, team members' upskilling, the software tools that you need, and so forth. So driving revenue is really important. Now, naturally, when you drive more revenue, you'll start to put pressure on all of the other systems in the business across customer service, operations, IT, HR, finance, and your new automation department as well. Now, as you're looking at your marketing and sales area, I'd recommend this book. Now, even if you don't sell SaaS, okay, read this book. It's Software as a Science by one of my mentors, Dan Martell, and the team from SaaS Academy, who are also our coaches. And there's some great new thinking in there that can be applied to any business around your marketing and sales funnel, and having a real focus on acquisition, retention, and expansion, and bring that to the forefront. Where most companies really just look at goal conversion on the funnel to convert the sale, really the magic happens after the sale on what is the customer experience like when they start to use the product, and how will you expand your products and services to your clients. Now, in SaaS, for us, it's a bit different. For those that are not in SaaS, the game is to get your customers to come and buy again, not just buy once. And so if you look at it, start looking at your business through the lens as if it was a SaaS company, I think it's going to go a long way for impact and valuation. So pick up that book. It's amazing. I know many of our team are right onto it. We're getting a copy for all of our internal team members because we think it's just so impactful. Okay, beta release time for automations and to apply. So we will send out a form to fill out. But if you're interested in this, please do put your email address in the chat. We will send it out to all Flow Friday attendees and Raya users. But if you want to sort of get the first scoop, drop your email address in the chat so it can signal to me that you're really serious. Here are some of the questions that we'll ask in the form. We're going to ask you things like, naturally, first name, last name, email address, your current business, and some questions around the size of your business as well. We'd like to understand that. Naturally, if you've been in the Flow Friday program for quite some time, you're going to be pushed to the top because you've already got some skills in this zone. I'd also like to be hearing from you if you've got interest in becoming or building out AI automation integration consultancy as a department or arm of your business as well. That will be useful to understand. And also just your first thoughts on what you might like to automate. And then what's going to come off the back of this is not just the free access and away you go. We're actually going to spend some time with you and some one-on-one time to get to know your business a bit more and help you plan out what your first 3 to 5 automations are going to be. And we're going to help you build them as well, right? So we're going to make sure you get a huge win and success of these. We're going to help you build them as well. Now, aligned to that, so yeah, pop your email in the chat if you want to be one of the first. We'll send out that form and I'll have a video with it so you can understand it. The Academy, which is where we're pumping in all of our content in as well. There'll be a free section, and then the new advanced stuff that will be for training AI consultants, the AI automation integration engineers, and also flow engineers at a more detailed level. All of that will become available. And in the new setup, we will have this live by Wednesday next week. We thought we were going to get it done by Monday of this current week, but the reality is there's just more setup, but it's Wednesday next week. So you'll receive an email from us. Make sure you go and register and get into that community. We're putting all of our past sessions, Flow Friday sessions in there, and all the agents, all the workflows, all of that will be available in there. So you can copy those and put them into your system. So it's going to really just boost up what you can do with Raya and get yourself into the zone of having massive impact in 2025. All right. There might be some questions there I might have missed. If I have, we'll make sure we get them answered afterwards. I want to say thank you, everyone, for joining today's Flow Friday session. We're really excited to get into some more detailed work next week as well. All this foundation information as well is going to go over into the new community. So you get a copy of all the slides over there also as you start to do your planning progress. And I'll be also starting to release, not on Flow Fridays, but inside the community, some of these concepts I've shared with you, but in practical examples so you can see it as well. So that you can get some inspiration of, great, well, I've got the theory, but I kind of now need to step over into operational execution. And so in doing so, there's Indy. Indy, you better come and say hi to the world now that you've run behind the screen. Okay, hi, Indy. Can you go get ready for school? Thanks. And it's because I want you to feel really confident as you're executing so you can copy it behind us as well. All right, with that, let's call it a wrap. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today for Flow Friday. Looking forward to seeing you next week, and many of you talking to you in person next week as well, as we get you on your journey with the full automation integrations and just turn 2025 on its head. So thanks, everybody. Bye for now. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. Take care.